Hello my dear friends, welcome back. In last two lectures, I teach you about if and if else statement. In this lecture, we are going to learn about an nested if else statement. There are two types of nested if else statement. One is if else if statement, and the second one is if else statement. There are just minor difference between both of them. We are going to see when we try a few examples. Let's first see the block diagram of nested if else statement. So when you execute a nested if else statement, then come first conditions, and if condition 1 is true, then execute first statement, and if it false, then go to next condition, which is here 2. Now if the condition is 2 is true, then it will execute statement number 2, and if it false, then it go to condition 3, and so on up to end statement. Now here the last condition makes the difference between both statements. Here if it is if else if statement, then if the condition is true, then execute its statement, and if it's false, then it doesn't have any default statement. So if all the conditions are false, then it doesn't have any condition to execute, so it's just going to skip the nested if else statement. But while in if else statement, if its condition is true, then it execute its statement, and if all conditions are false, then it always have one default statement which is going to be executed. So here if all the conditions are false, it is going to always have one default statement to execute. So this is the main difference between if else if statement and if else if else. Now let's come back to the MATLAB. So let's try a few examples and start with if else if statement. I have already one program. It's variable testing. Let me make it big for you so you can see whole program. I written this program, so it take one variable and compare with one variable and its value, and tell whether it's greater than, less than, or equal to that variable. Here the variable is a, and I give value at 10. You can also change it if you want to. So let's try the variable. Sorry, function is working or not. Try a few big values for starting at 76. So n is greater than variable a, and obvious 26 is greater than 10. Let's say 13. N is greater than a. Now try some few small values. Say 3. Again say 6. Try a few negative values. So it's less than variable a, and at last try 10, so it's equal to a. So this function is working, right? Now let's come to the function. Here all if statement always start with if statement, if, and it which is a point where first condition is going to be there. So the first condition is going to compare both, check it whether both variables are equal to or not. If it is, then it's going to execute its first statement, and if it not, then going to go to second conditions, and if it's true, then going to execute second statement. If it false, then going to third condition, or you can say it's last condition, and it's going to execute its statement. And if it's false, then here it doesn't have any default statement, but obviously it's not going to happen, because if first condition are false, then obviously third condition is going to be right at any cost. So let's first clear out this mess and go to our next example, which we're going to see an example of if else statement. It is a month testing program which is going to give you name of month from which I give a number. So for example, I say 2, so it's February, right? Let's make it big for you so you can see whole program. It's too long. Let's undock it so you can see our program. Undock, and here you are. Okay. Yeah. So for 12 months it has 12 conditions, and 113 condition for default, sorry, not conditions, the statement default. and it is else. So if all these conditions are going to be false, then it's going to execute its last default statement. Now let's check the program. Okay, let's check the program. Mind testing and say number. Let's try with my birthday month is 9. So 9 is September, right? Now let's try 1. So it's January. Say 5. So it's May. Now try some wrong outputs, sorry, inputs. Say 15. So number must be from 1 to 12. Now try some negative values, or you can say 0. Some negative values, say -5, and here you are. So the function is working. Sorry, just a minute, I just mash around right here. So here, this is a basic difference between if else if statement and if else statement. If else statement always have one default statement to execute if all the conditions are false, and in if else if statement it doesn't have any default condition. So if all conditions are going to be false, then it's just going to skip next if else statement. So this is for all 4 if else statements. Now let's summarize what we learned in these 3 lectures. So let's start with a simple if statement. First, if the condition is true in if statement, then going to execute its statement, and if it's false, then it's going to end. And doesn't have any default statements. Now go to second statement. It is if else statement. Here it is just one minor difference of else statement. If the condition is true, then it's going to execute its statement, and if it is false, then always have one default statement to execute it. Now let's go to nested if statement. First one is if else if statement. So it is going to execute first condition. If it's true, then first statement, and if it's false, then it's going to second condition, and so on up to end conditions. And if all conditions are false, then it doesn't have any default statement, so it's going to end at there. And the last one is if else statement. It's very similar to if else statement, just different way of is just else statement at last. So it's going to execute first condition. If it's true, then execute first statement. False, then go to second condition. And if it's true, the second statement, and false, then next condition, and so on up to end conditions. And if all the conditions are false, you always have one last default statement to execute it. So here we end our section. See you next lecture.